The headline was, "The Camino Sucks." Now, who wrote that article? Well, it was a thru hiker who had walked the Camino Frances and thought the whole thing sucked because it was nothing like a thru hike. No, it's not a thru hike at all. And this week we're talking to somebody who has done lots of Caminos and lots of thru hikes. Sara Dhooma, welcome. Great to have you with us. So let's talk about that comparison coming right up. So yeah, I can remember that article coming out and it caused ripples in the Camino circles. Like, who is this person saying the Camino sucks? And I think a lot of people sometimes maybe misunderstand what the Camino is and what it isn't. So you've walked something like a dozen Caminos. You've done a lot of thru hiking as well, haven't you? So what's the difference? Would Camino people enjoy thru hiking and vice versa?
It depends on what your motivations are for walking. If you're looking for a wilderness experience where you are connecting with nature and that's the focus of your time out there, then the Camino may not be for you, because the Camino does have some beautiful natural nature parts, but there's also a lot of travel through civilized areas, so towns, villages, roads, and a lot of historic stuff becomes more the shine and the focus rather than the wilderness. As for a Camino walker enjoying the wilderness, then Camino walkers are kind of used to the albergue beds and the wine and the hot showers and the cafes. And in the wilderness, if you want any comforts, it's all going in your backpack and you are carrying it yourself.
You mean there's no tapas on the Appalachian Trail?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, so what attracts you to either of them?
Well, I like walking. I love long distance endurance kind of stuff. And as I walk and I move through different atmospheres, I love taking it in. And yes, I love the wilderness and the deserts and the ocean and all that. But I'm also a big fan of history. I majored in history in university. So walking the Camino, all the castles and infrastructures that were set up to protect the medieval pilgrims are just a huge thrill for me, because there's not very many opportunities to put yourself back into a kind of like a historical mindset. And these pilgrimages, which are rooted in spirituality, just bring you and take you right there.
Yeah, it's a very different experience, isn't it? Not that I have thru hiked, but yeah, I get a sense of that on your videos. You really kind of get drawn into the history, and yeah, that adds a nice dimension. So have you come across, I'm not sure that many Camino pilgrims go and thru hike. I think more thru hikers perhaps try a Camino. Have you come across people who did one or the other and kind of went, nah, I didn't really enjoy that. It wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, more so from the thru hiker side, because when you are thru hiking, say the big American trails, you're kind of allowed to camp anywhere you want. And so there is more freedom and flexibility. So some thru hikers don't like on the Camino that tenting is kind of frowned upon. And so then they're forced into the albergue situations, and perhaps they don't like being around all those crowds of people. They're not finding the reflection time that they had before in the wilderness.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think also, particularly for people who maybe are thinking about their first Camino, and you see a lot of this online, you know, I describe the Camino as really a nice Sunday walk, repeated day after day after day, you know, going from cafe to cafe almost. You know, it's really not like hiking. People say to me, oh, you must love hiking. I say, no, I don't hike at all at home. So Camino's got nothing to do with hiking. So, you know, and it's not the sort of hike where you got to carry cooking equipment and tents and, you know, it's minimalist, isn't it? change of clothes and a sleeping bag.
Yeah, you need a much higher degree of physical fitness, and you also need a very much higher degree of how much hardship that you can endure.
Through hiking, yeah.
Yeah, with through hiking, because and it's also a higher degree of danger. You need to have a certain amount of skill sets to be able to survive and be comfortable, and navigation skills. On the Camino, you can kind of roll on autopilot and just make the focus enjoying the walk. With wilderness hiking, you need to be thinking ahead. What's the weather looking like? How's my food supply? How's my injury level? Because I need to make it to that road or to that town, or else, what are you going to do? Call for a helicopter? But with the Camino, it's a little more chill.
Yeah, and you don't need bear spray.
No, but you have to worry about bed bugs on the Camino.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that's one critter wilderness hikers don't have to worry
about. I will touch every bit of wood within reach, but I haven't met bed bugs yet. So
you're lucky.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. So I think both are great. I've done lots of hiking in the past, though not sort of through hiking. Lots of hill walking in the UK, and I used to love that. But they are quite different things, I think. Yeah. Do you walk Caminos because you love hiking, or is there more to it? I mean, I maybe I'm a bit weird, sort of saying I don't like hiking much, and the Camino hasn't got a lot to do with hiking, but.
Well, I like the walking aspect, and I think moving slowly is the best way to enjoy a place. So I like the Caminos because I'm walking back in time with the footsteps of the pilgrims, and I'm reaching those villages and towns that people for thousands of years have reached and slept at. Yeah. So. And also the Camino has a lot of heart and a lot of love. I like the personalities that I meet, and I like carrying on the ancient traditions.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the hiking, if you like, is the vehicle in which you kind of undertake a Camino, but it's about so much more, as you say. It's the environment, it's the people, it's the sense of history. And when you're walking paths where millions of pilgrims have walked for 1,000 years, I mean, it's quite a profound feeling sometimes.
Yeah, the exercise fitness portion, the walking portion, is at the very bottom of why I walk a Camino.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's maybe what the thru hikers find disappointing, because they like the wilderness challenge of, okay, I need to go 100 kilometers in this stretch. How am I going to plan it out and manage it and have that fitness endurance challenge component? But on the Camino, it's the walking. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
That's a great difference, isn't it? Because you're never overly concerned about destination and achieving a certain number of miles or kilometers, because if all else fails, you can get to a road, you can get a bus, something.
Yeah, with thru hiking, there's also a pressure of the seasons. You need to get past an area before the snow flies, or before wildfire season, or if you want to complete the whole trail, you only have 6 months. So you always feel like, okay, if I need to make my miles. But on the Camino, I feel way less of that pressure.
It was interesting. You made a point just now about, walking slowly through the landscape and the history and so on. Now, if there's any pilgrim cyclists watching this, please don't think I'm having a go at you, but a lot of people do travel along the Caminos by bicycle. And I sometimes think they miss out a little bit, because I think some of the value of walking a Camino is just walking at 3-4 miles an hour through a landscape, and you kind of, I don't know, you absorb the energy or something, but you just absorb your surroundings at a really relaxed pace. I can't imagine doing it on a bike and everything's just whizzing past. Would you ever do a Camino on a bike?
Never, because cycling hurts my bum. I can't. It's very uncomfortable on my bum. I
Yeah,
can only cycle for maybe 1 hour max, and then
yeah,
my bum is like, "This hurts,
mhm,
Sarah. You should be walking
yeah,
instead."
yeah, but,
the, when the flat road stretches, I've
mm,
thought, oh, a bike would make this go
yeah,
by so much
mm,
faster. But then I like to have the connected footsteps. I like
mm,
that when I was in Saint Jean Pied de Port and took a step, I didn't get into any vehicles or blah blah blah. It
mm,
was my feet the whole way
yeah.
that took me to that cathedral.
I can remember watching one of your videos on the VDLP, and it was probably in the first couple of days, where it was that long stretch where you're going up to the Finca, the park. And I think you commented that, oh, a lot of people skip this bit because it's 16 kilometers or something on the road.
Oh yeah.
I'm walking to Santiago. I
Yeah.
thought there's a bit of determination.
Now, but I do want to say, it's your Camino. So if somebody is like the heat is too bad for health
Mm,
reasons or whatever, and they
mm,
do need to skip a section, then hey,
yeah.
that's between you and your Camino. And I don't ever want to shame people
No, no, absolutely
for
not. Absolutely
yeah,
not.
but only if they lie about it and say they
Yeah.
walked every step,
Mm,
because then that diminishes the achievements of the
mm.
people who
No,
toughed it out and
you're
did
very
it.
true. It's not an endurance test. It's not a punishment or anything like that. You have to be
Yeah.
sensible, I think, and sometimes, your body breaks down a little bit, and, I think
Yeah. So if
the bus
people
break at a bus.
if a climb is too hard and it would otherwise mean they couldn't walk the Camino, then
Mm,
please taxi up that climb
mm,
and enjoy
yeah, but
enjoy the
if you're
way.
thinking of cycling it, think again.
Try walking. You might
Yeah.
just prefer it.
No, it's like for me, it's like a walking meditation. I don't know. I just can't imagine whizzing along the Camino at the speed of a bike, but never mind. We were not here to talk about bikes. We were talking about through hiking
No.
versus Caminos. And I think you've given us a great perspective there, Sarah. So thank you for that. Somebody who's done lots of both. And
Hmm.
so thank you very much for joining us this week. We'll put a link to your channel down below. So everybody go and watch Sarah's channel. There's some fantastic stuff on there. She
Ooh,
gets into all the food and the beer and everything. Yes, sorry, you got another point?
I just want to mention I do have my next through hike arranged.
Oh, where's that?
I'm going to be walking the Great Divide Trail. So I'm going to start at the US-Canada border
Mhm.
at Waterton Parks at the very start of the Canadian Rockies.
Yep.
And I'm going to straddle the Great Divide kind of on the British Columbia and Alberta
Mm.
border for 2 months in July and August, climbing and going all through
Wow.
great grizzly bear country.
Wow. Hey, look, I've got to give a plug here for someone else whose videos I absolutely love. Have you seen, I won't call them videos, the movies produced by Father Johannes?
Father Johannes, no, I haven't.
Oh, sorry to diverge for a
No,
moment.
go ahead.
We'll put a couple of links below. I think you can get access to them free on Vimeo, or you might pay $1 or something like this. But Father Johannes is a priest who was in a parish in Liechtenstein, and he decided to walk to Jerusalem,
Ooh.
5,000 or 6,000 kilometers. Absolutely amazing video. And he's just one called the Via Sacra, I think, which is all around the Alps. Just amazing stuff. I know I only mention it because I know you would love watching them. The cinema photography and everything is outstanding.
I will definitely check it out. I love when people do unconventional long walks.
Yeah, yeah. And as soon as you do your Continental Divide walk, let's get the link in there. So we want to see that one too. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Sarah. It's wonderful talking to you. I feel like I know you so well, having watched most of your videos. And thank you for sharing your insights and tips and so on with us. So best of luck on your next walk. And for everybody watching, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.